Welcome back, everybody, to Stardew Valley here on Fantasy Farm. This is not usually where we begin, however, today is the day, in-game, that we get married. When Delta first arrived in Pelican Town, no one knew if he'd fit in with our community, but from this day forward, Delta's going to be just as part of this town as any much of us. I'm going to recycle the same joke and be like, thanks, as if I wasn't before now. It is my great honor on this day, 21st of winter, to unite Delta and Sebastian in the bonds of marriage. Well, let's get right to it. Delta, you may kiss. Sebastian may not. You must initiate. And there we go. Now Marnie's busy dancing and looking like a complete and total goober over there. Life's gonna be different from now on, but the future looks bright. I'll skip the other joke that I made, and not because it was inappropriate, it just wasn't that funny. So yes, truly, welcome back everybody to Stardew Valley here on Fantasy Farm. Last time, we did quite a bit of work, I would say, on making this place actually feel like a home. And honestly, to quote McDonald's, I'm loving it. It looks really great. We've also got now Sebastian's little area over here, and I think it actually fits like pretty decently well with what we've got. So yeah, just want to show a little bit more of this off. There are some parts that I still want to add. I want to add something in the back here. I do need to get the legend added, so I'll do that shortly. I'll probably change some of the pictures and whatnot here. And then back here, of course, and also at the top part of the house, which will probably be the next thing that I do in terms of renovating, or like decorating, are pretty much the only big things that I have left to do. That said, there is another catalog. Oops, I didn't mean to tank that anchor off the wall. There is another catalog that I would like to specifically have. And hopefully, with any luck, we'll find that today. Queen of Sauce. Bruschetta. Let's have a look. It's a wonderfully simple appetizer that really showcases the quality of the ingredients. You'll need bread, tomato, and oil. First, you need to grill the bread, slice the tomato, and place it onto the grilled bread. Then drizzle with oil and serve. I told you it was simple. And yet it's still pretty good. And that's coming from somebody that's not super big on tomato. So things are looking good on that front. Let's grab our bonuses. I did also want to point out, I kind of just moved everything into one singular chest. I threw away some stuff, not a lot, but yeah, just did want to go ahead and point that out. So yes, I am going to work on that top area a little bit. It's not going to be to the degree that I've been doing a lot of decorating. It might just kind of be like, oh, I'll take a little bit of time to do that. Not sure how much. But first and foremost, we've got other stuff going on. Also, I did want to point out, Sebastian's got his motorcycle back there now. That's sort of a little area, kind of like with the his actual room and whatnot, is NPCs have their own different room. They have various things that they can give you. They have various things that they can do during the day for you. There's quite a bit that goes into that. Ultimately, you know, as is the case in real life, it probably shouldn't be your be-all, end-all reasoning for who you choose to romance, of just, you know, what can they provide for your farm to make your finances better. But, well, people have married for less, right? Moving swiftly on from that topic. Aside from that, they will come in handy for that, and I do want to point out, once I grab the shears and whatnot, is now with being married to somebody, you'll see that there are 4 extra hearts. So, with this, you are going to want to try and get their relationship with you, once again, to max hearts. And there is a reward for doing this. But first, let's collect our own rewards for the day in our routine. There's not any immediate purchases I can really think of that, like, I really want to do other than getting that remaining catalog. So I do think on that front, we're probably not going to be making any more big purchases outside of that catalog until I actually get the obelisk this time, so we're not going to have a close to the finish only to be like, oh, nope, we're yanking that football away at the last second type of thing. We are actually going to proper... Actually, you know what? Let's not do the common mushrooms. Let's do the chanterelles. We'll do the fancy mushrooms. Just sounds like a euphemism for drugs, doesn't it? Either way, it's probably fine. Can definitely tell there will be some days in the future here where if there's a quest going on that might have to focus a little bit more on... There's a gnat in front of my face. Might have to focus a little bit more on getting the routine done a little bit faster. Let's go with the peaches again, I guess. Those nasty skin-colored peaches once they're all dried and whatnot. Also, I have not forgotten, there is one more thing on the farm that I do need to take care of, and that is this. It's not actually this. I said that with too much emphasis, it kind of gave it away. Once I've got everything put up, first and foremost, I'm going to give this to you, Sebastian, as an anniversary gift. Hey, thank you, I'll drink this when the sky gets dark. And as is the case, that will give us a heart with Sebastian. I feel like he's a good candidate for the Star Drop tea, since, like, we did just get married, so that's sort of a, like, you know, that's my own personal present to you type of thing. The other thing is down here, as I showed off, at long last, after a very, very healthy chunk of time, some, not all, but some of the starfruit wines are ready. I am going to let all of them become ready until... I will let all of the other ones finish, basically, here, and that way they'll all be synchronized together. But yes, 500,000 G, basically, just sitting right there. So that is the difference right there. Let's grab, like, one of each, and you can see the difference. 3150 versus 6300, so you're getting basically a little over double for that. Is it worth the time? Is once again going to be my answer. But since the casks take way more time than the actual normal kegs do, you can have both running at the same time with no real issue there. So, we're going to drop those off. And now, once I move everything back up to where it should be, let's take a quick look down at the traveling merchant and see if I can get what I'm looking for. Did I not take my horse? No, my horse is somewhere. Well, I tragically have no kingdom, so I cannot say my kingdom for a horse. Instead, I will just go down there and check on what's going on there. I'm pretty sure the raccoons don't need anything because I think we took care of them last episode. Yep. So they're all good in the hood. Speaking of good in the hood, what's underneath this hood here? Anything that I'm looking for? No. Complete breakfast for Alex if I really needed it, but I don't. So here's the thing about the catalog I'm looking for. There are basically two left, which is the trash catalog, which you just find from digging through trash cans, and it doesn't really have anything I care about. The other catalog that I actually will use, and it will probably be for that big open area, not the top area, is the Junimo catalog. And after you've completed either the community center or the Joja route, whichever one you chose, every single time that you check the traveling merchant, there's a 10% chance it will appear. So we should be having decent odds on it, right? Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while either. Which, granted, we haven't really been looking for it, but I do remember seeing it a ton, like back to back to back at one point, and now I'm having a hard time finding it, so not really sure what's going on there. We could do aquatic overpopulation now that the farming is done for the day. But I think I kind of want to go around, since it's been a little bit for me personally, and basically just kind of get the ball rolling on stuff, get things sort of moving. So like building trees, getting kegs done, that type of thing, I think would be our best bet. Well, actually we're waiting on the kegs, so maybe we won't end up doing that. How are we doing on like wood, stone, and coal? Not super great. Okay. So if that's the case, I might do some skull cavern mining. We could do that. Do I want to do that? I should have gone with more coal for my option. The other thing I could do is continue to try and find that godforsaken last note on the island. That is another option. Well, as the saying goes, there's no reason we can't do both. So let's just do both. Let's check out how the forest of trees in the desert is doing. And then after we're done there, if we've got time, we'll check on the island as well. I can't believe we're coming up on the end of year 2 here. And admittedly, I am kind of excited to be able to do subsequent years, and I'm going back and forth on what I want to do. We might have... Oh, well, it might have helped if I brought the axe. Why didn't y'all tell me? Heck, well, let's go back and get it. I am tempted to sort of make it like... I wouldn't say a montage per se, but basically just, like, film the entire week of playing, cut it down, and then just overlay my voice of like, hey, so this is what was going on during all this. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it like 3 days, a week. Also, here's your event, by the way. And I think on the calendar it will probably change to anniversary for Sebastian and Delta at this point. Let's see. Getting too distracted by other things here. Alright. Let's actually check that calendar real quick, because I am curious. Yeah, you enjoy hanging out over here. Nope, not yet. Maybe it'll show up next year. You got anything to say about the inside? No, nothing yet. Well, I hope he likes it. I wouldn't say I worked, like, extremely hard on it in terms of, like, thinking through how the design and everything looked, but you have to admit, regardless of whether you like the design or not, you have to admit it looked better than it did, where I just, like, threw random stuff on the floor and was like, sure, why not? You have to admit it looks better. The bar was set so low, it would basically be impossible for it not to look better. Alright, let's collect on our profits of wood here. And then, of course, once all this is done, I will replant as well. Just because I'm a monster that tears down a forest doesn't mean that I'm not going to replant. When you want to tear down the rainforest, but also, you know, you want to take care of the environment, too. It's not rage against the machine, it's mild discontent with the system, you know? That's how it works. When you want to overthrow the government, but you don't want to be rude. Speaking of being rude, the dogs! Yay, I've officially asked my landlord how to file, specifically with them, a formal noise complaint, so I'm looking forward to seeing that response. If they decide to respond. They might not. They probably won't. I'll probably have to go in physically and be like, hey, so we're not answering our contacts again. And so now I have to be here again. Yay! I don't know, today feels like a very good day to not deal with people after work last night. I'm very glad I'm not working for the next 3 days. I'm so tired of babysitting, and I don't mean looking after the kids in care. I mean having a second staff in there that's just... I wouldn't even say they're not doing anything. I would say they're actively detrimental, which, yes, is worse. Is easily worse. Alright, let's start planting these. Yeah, actively, like, for sure, actively worse. Without question. Of, like, if somebody is trying to sleep, kids in care, whatever, and you have to make a phone call, maybe don't do it literally right outside their door. Like, call me a bit old-fashioned, but if you have something like that, a phone call, even if it's an emergency that you just, like, have to do right then and there, you step outside and you take the phone call outside. You don't just stay in there and continue to make noise and wake people up, and then also don't take responsibility for it and leave other people to clean up your mess. And this is not a person younger than me, for anybody wondering, if they're thinking, like, oh, well, maybe they're just, like, in their early 20s or something. No, he's almost twice my age. He's almost 60. Like, he knows better. He absolutely does. Well, since I don't have enough time to get to the island now, I think I am just gonna continue the forest here. So I do want to make sure, as we're continuing our... Oops. Our keg and also preserves jars empires, that we will have the available resources. I'm just going to basically keep this section over here as open as I can. I know the pathway kind of prevents you from planting there, but that's good. I don't want the pathway to Sandy's completely blocked or anything. So yeah, hopefully everybody else was having a much more exciting day than I was, and thankfully by the time this goes up, that day will have been long come and gone. This is going to be out on 2026, and we're still in August here. I'm making sure to get a big head start on videos this time around, which is very unlike me as of, well, I wouldn't say late, but prior, but that was mostly just being busy with things, and I know I'm going to start being busy once the year starts up again with VR convention stuff, since I'm staffed for that, so I want to make sure I've got plenty of leeway to be like, oh yeah, I'm scheduled ahead for months now, I don't have to worry about that bit. But I will still have time to, of course, check comments and things like that, so I'm curious to see how everyone is taking the project right now. I'm enjoying playing it a lot, honestly. It's been very hard to put down, and it's always a shame when it's like, oh, I don't have any more physical space to record, like, or I guess it is digital space, but it's like, oh, I don't have any more space to record. No, I wanted to be able to record more. And I think this, speaking of space, is about all we've got. There we go. This place is gonna look pretty insane whenever all those trees are fully grown. That said, I am gonna knock the ones down that are done. And I think once I do that, I'll go back and work on the room a little bit, since it is later in the day. So I might be a little bit slower with the house decor, at least on the last two, but also, like, now you don't have to just constantly be like, seriously, he's decorating the house again? I want it to look nice. I want it to look very nice for, you know, actually having somebody there now besides just me, where it's like, it doesn't really matter if, like, the animals aren't going to care, for example, but now we have somebody that, you know, actually value the opinion of, and that actually has an opinion on it, so yeah, I do want them to, know it's a place they should be able to, like, you know, enjoy themselves. They should be able to like the decor. That said, NPCs do have the ability to redecorate, quote-unquote, I guess is the loose term for it, or they might change wallpapers and stuff, which is why I recommend having the catalogs even more, honestly, for that specific reason. That if they switch it up to something that you don't like, then you've got the option to fix it. For now, though, I am going to work on this area up here, and either I'll show it off when it's done, which is probably not going to be done in a day, or I'll continue to work on it in the time being. I am also going to go grab the legend and put it in that fish tank over there as well. Alright, off I go to bed, and no, I will not let you see what I've got, but I'll show you what's in my inventory for things that I've not yet used. Obviously, there's a little bit of a blue theme going on here, but we'll see a little bit more of that later. Also, now, with having our spouse here, they are obviously sharing a bed, and I might swap out this bed for a jungle one, maybe, or something like that. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out later. Look at all that money. And you know where it came from. That's Starfruit wine, man. I'm telling you. That's a good way to put your new spouse in a good mood. So I just earned about $500,000 today. Very, very nice. Alright. Let's take a look at what we got here. Spirits are neutral. Weather is snowing. And over here... Oh, the butterfly. Ugh. Well, rip. I'm going to take a walk today. I need some time to myself. I'll see you in the evening. All right. I'll see you later, Sebastian. Alright, meanwhile over here, the first thing I'm going to do... Well, I'm actually going to put all these up because I think I'm set on my decor for now. What I've got here is probably what I'll end up using. I want to finish off that room as much as I think it should be finished, air quote. And then we'll do the routine as well off screen, and then we'll figure out what we're doing for the day. Alright, here we are. This is obviously the stuff that I am putting into our shipping bin. And also, we've got mail. Found the Senator somewhere, thought you could use it. Nice. I will hang on to that. Appreciate it. Now, with any luck, let's see how the special orders and key quests are doing. I would really love... Ooh, hello. Thank you. Would love that as well. Yes, of course. But I would love very much to have both a key quest that's pretty easily doable, or at least halfway doable, and I would really, really love to see that ectoplasm pop up on the special orders board. I think I would prefer that more than the key quest, honestly. So, let's see what we got. A little bit of luck, please. Nope, it's still the same as it ever was. Alright, well, I guess we'll just do that one then. It won't take that long anyway. Ooh, some carrot seeds. Thank you. I was running low on carrots. I only have 4 left now. Yeah, she's getting out of here. Jody doesn't want to hang out in this winter weather. She wants to go hang out on the beach. Which, fair. More carrots. Very good. I might take the actual full walk back just to, shut up. I see you back on the island just like old times. Yeah. Some things never change, my guy. Much like the ever-present need to harvest all the crops. Which it's not really all, it's only a small chunk of them. It's really when they're, like, we have a huge amount of starfruit that are ready that's like, okay, I need to run back and grab more of those. And I think we have a couple seeds left, like somewhere between 1 to 3. Oh no, they are done. Oh no, well I gotta go back and do that then. Well, heck. But the coffee beans are ready too, which is good. We're good on coffee for a ways, but inevitably, sooner or later, we will run low again. It will be nice to have those on hand. I'll also take those, gladly. This does also mean that we'll be selling a bunch of starfruit, though, so we actually will be, potentially, next episode, getting the obelisk to get to the island. Which would be nice, and though it would take a long, long, long time to pay for itself, it also means that we don't have to pay the 1000 G to head to the island every time we want to, either. I know we're paying $1 million for that, so, you know, it would take quite a while before that was the case, but that is a nice little added bonus. Oh, I didn't have any sprinklers here. I could have sworn I did. Well, need to get some more sprinklers as well, then. There's a lot we need to do today. So I'm hoping with any luck that A, no one ever finds out about this island, because if they were at level 0 in farming, they get to, like, level 5 at least. I do think that would be something that would be really fun / interesting to do, is, like, intentionally let all of my crops grow to where they're ready to be harvested, and then if I invite anybody in local co-op, be like, yeah, I know you're at level 0 farming, here's the iridium scythe that I have, literally just harvest everything, and I want to see how many levels you gain off of this. I gotta think it's entirely possible if you got the right setup that you can get them to level 10, especially on, like, the normal farm where there's so many tiles, because the forest farm honestly doesn't have that many. It's not the lowest, I think it's the second lowest amount of tillable tiles, but it is on the lower end for sure. But I do think they're formatted in a much nicer and cleaner way than some of the other farms. Looking at you, Riverside Farm. Alright, let's put some of this away. Yeah, we're going to make some really good money off of this. 75, 58, another 11 right there, so let's put all those away. I am going to hang on to the pineapples, like I said. I think that's probably good. And again, on the off chance I need these for anything, I'm going to keep the island ones on the island, and I will keep the greenhouse ones on the normal farm. So since I am keeping all of this stuff, let's move it down here. And while I was in there, we did have a couple of seeds. And I'll grab the mixed seeds as well, sure. Oops, missed one. I guess we could do the farm computer now. I was going to say we could do that and then go back, but it doesn't really matter what order. 215. Okay. 215. 215. That's actually my birthday. How fitting. February 15th. Which, this is actually... Oh, God. I'm going to be almost 31 by the time this comes out. Do not want... Ooh, okay. Now this might be reasonable. Extended family. Family members of the legendary fish are returned to the valley. You have 3 days to catch Miss Angler, sorry, Glacierfish Jr., son of Crimson Fish, Radioactive Carp, and the Legend 2. Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, we could give that a go. We could certainly give that a try. I don't see why not. It does mean I probably should grab more tackles and whatnot. So let's head back the normal way, actually. I will need to check and see where those all are. But the trees around here would make for an interesting medium to work with. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Wow, I can't believe you and Sebastian got hitched. Times are really changing. It was breathtaking. Deep blue as far as the eye can see. If you look close, you can see the little bugs jumping out of the sand. We've talked to you before while you were chilling out here, Kent. I like how also, just because of, like, conveniently who I happen to be talking with the villagers, like, while they're around, that means that Sam was the first person to acknowledge Sebastian I got married before even his own parents. Yikes. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna grab, like, 2 of these, and then what was the other one that I really wanted? Yeah, let's grab another trap bobber. I'm basically just going to keep those for backup. I don't actually think I'm going to need them, but hey, you never know. I am... Nah, I feel like we're better off overall doing the star fruit planting first, and then we'll... See, I'm going to assume basically that, like, each fish is going to show up in a different area, but it does not matter season, because, like, if season mattered, how would you be able to do it in 3 days? It wouldn't be possible, would it? So we'll put those up. So I gotta imagine it's probably like, oh, there's one in the mountain lake, there's one in the sewers, there's one in the ocean, there's one in the river. I gotta think that's what it's like, but, don't take that as gospel until I have done my research, and I'm sure. So, with this all put up, time for me to go do a little bit of research. Alright, we are back. I'm just reading straight off the wiki here. They can be caught in, being all of the legendary fish, part 2, they can all be caught in the same locations as the older generation of fish, but the fishing bar is not distinctly marked with it as it is the original legendary fish, meaning the icon would be the same. It does not have to be raining for the legend 2 to appear as the original legend. Well, that's good. The same level requirements for the original legendary fish apply for these fish as well. This means it's impossible to complete the quest without either reaching fishing level 10 or getting there temporarily via buffs, as that is the level of requirement necessary to hook Legend 2, as is the case with the original Legend. So, with that, I'm just going to do these in the order that they're listed on the wiki, meaning that we're going to start with, if I can find it... under map. There it is. We're going to start with Miss Angler, which is obviously, you know, the Angler Part 2. For this, the first thing I'm going to do is, even though I don't really need to, I'm going to put away some of these tools here. And just to try to give myself a small bit of a boost, I am going to... I'm actually going to grab a second one of these as well. Since we haven't been really using the fish stew for anything, I'm going to use these to help with those buffs as well. One thing I do need to also check, as I think it said... Yeah, any season, any time, any weather. I just wanted to double check on that to be absolutely sure. Let's see if we can have a little bit of good luck on our side. I feel like this one's going to be, like, relatively reasonable unless the game just really decides to not give it to you. And I do need to buy more starfruit. I think I'm going to do that real quick, but I'm not actually going to go back and plant them just yet. But I am going to do it just so, like, oh, hey, I don't have to worry about that. I'll just keep the seeds in my inventory, and then when the next day starts, I'll head to the island and get those planted. So they'll be off by a day. It's not that big a deal. But I do want to make sure I have them in my inventory so I remember, oh, hey, this is a thing that I'm doing. Hey, Sandy. How many did I need? 215. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why it wouldn't do that. That's because that was open. 215. Cool. Alright, so we got 3 days to catch these. I feel like that's not going to be too hard. I feel like in multiplayer it'd be way harder because of, you know, when you're in the midst of fishing, you, kind of, you know, you kind of are losing time constantly while you're trying to reel the fish in. But in single player, once you've got it hooked, then it's not that big of a deal. I could get a sonar bobber, but honestly, I feel more okay with what we've got here, personally. And if I need to add another tackle or something like that, I'll probably do that in the morrow, as it were. How do I get over there? I believe it's right here. Yeah, this is close enough. Should have taken the ladder down, but we got there in the end, and that's the important thing. Alright. Buff. Move these down here. Let's see if we can't catch ourselves another legendary fish. Now, these, unlike the normal legendary fish, these are actually repeatable catches. Not in the sense of, like, oh, hey, if I catch Miss Angler, I can catch another Miss Angler immediately after. But the quest can pop up multiple times. So, if you catch these legendary fish and you want to sell them, you actually can get another set of them. Am I going to keep another set of them if the game will allow me to? Probably. I probably would. I feel like I would. But I'm not actually fully sure. And there we go. Miss Angler. Use a bio... Oh, so it's the exact same text. Well, that's a little disappointing. Also, that face. Yeah, that face, man. That face. Alright. What is next on our list? Glacierfish Jr., which is... There we go. Now we're heading back down to the lower part of the forest. Cindersap Forest, to be more specific. Alex, why are you walking down here, man? You trying to get in the way? What do you think y'all doing? Probably won't do... maybe. Maybe if I have time, Kent, I'll swing that by you. Not today, but tomorrow. Much like actual winter, I was like, oh, it's already getting dark, I'm already running out of time, and it's like 5:20. It's not actually that late at all. Winter, man. As I mentioned earlier, it is August here, and that makes it doubly funny because, A, now I'm arriving to work and leaving to work a half an hour earlier, so instead of 10 to 7, it's 9:30 to 6:30, which isn't that big of a, whoa, hey, how's it going? It isn't that big of a gap, but you combine that with the fact August is when we really start, like, losing our light a lot faster, and yeah, it makes a substantial difference with those two things put together. Individually, it probably wouldn't, but man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. These actually don't sell for that much, but, I mean, they are duplicate knockoffs, as it were. Alright, number 3. Son of Crimson Fish, which will be on the Ocean Dock. Alright, let's go. I do hear there is a place off Ocean Avenue. And yes, I do like that song. I'm not just saying that ironically. I actually genuinely like Ocean Avenue. It's a very good song. I like a lot of Yellow Card songs, not just Ocean Avenue. If you've not heard Fighting, go listen to Fighting. It's really good. It's very, very solid. And if you like Ocean Avenue, Halocene, Halocene, I believe is how you pronounce it. They do a really good cover. They do some really good harmonies in the chorus of Ocean Avenue. Also, more carrots. I would like more of those, so please and thank you. All right. I'm intentionally not doing full casts because I think overcasting actually could cause me to miss the legendary fish altogether in terms of the location where they appear. I'm looking at all the tiles on the little mini-map here. How far is a full cast? Yeah, that might be too far. Maybe. Not actually fully certain about that, but could be. Yeah, this feels like pretty dang doable. This definitely feels like one of the more reasonable key quests. Like, I know people hate fishing in the game. I get it. For those that do, I get it absolutely. But, like, if you're fully maxed on fishing and you actually like fishing, this is probably going to be one of your easier ones to do. And that's more key gems in my pocket, so I will gladly take it, because I would like to get more of those Galaxy Souls and other nice little tools in my pocket. Nope, I think we've caught it. I was gonna cut, and that was why I was remaining quiet. So I might do a small cut there, but pretty much the moment I was quiet, all of a sudden... Speak of the Crimson Fish, and it shall appear. Or rather, the Crimson Fish Jr., whatever this one was called. What were you? Son of Crimson Fish. My mistake. He hatched in the warm summer water and followed in the footsteps of his father. Maybe these have changed. That one hasn't. The original Glacier Fish had a son, so Miss Angler is the only one that didn't have a new text. A little bit sexist there, but whatever. Radioactive carp. Oh, that's a face. Holy moly, I can't wait for y'all to see that one. That looks hilarious. So mutant carp, I think you can get that on any tile in there. Yeah, you can. Alright. I'll have to go get number 4. And we might be able to do these all in one day. I wasn't really expecting that, but it's looking like there is a small opportunity for that to happen if I can get that legend, which is going to be the hardest one of the 5. How are we doing on our bobbers? Yeah, that trap bobber's running kind of low, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, let's see how much luck we have here. This one will be theoretically a tiny bit easier to find, as the only thing you can fish up is, yeah, algae, regular carp, I think, and then the legendary fish, so we won't have too many casts where I'm reeling in something that's not the legendary fish. Yeah, that's looking like a carp. That's not moving at all. So I guess if you were looking for carp for your carp surprise, this would be a pretty good spot to hunt those down. And I do believe... There it is. Look at that face. That is a face. Carp that spent one too many years in toxic sludge. Yep. Its eyes and mouth have never looked the same since. So that just leaves the Legend 2. And of course, I know exactly where that one is. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of. So yeah, looks like we should be able to do this all in one day, unless I just get really unlucky with being able to find this one in the next, like, 2.5 hours in-game. But we've got all of these relatively quick, so I'm not too worried about it. The fact we started so late in the day and still managed to get, at bare minimum, 4 out of 5 is pretty telling. Sorry, horse, you're going to have to wait here while I do a little bit of fishing. But that's life. Sometimes you have to wait while other people fish. I think that's how the saying goes. I'm like 95% sure. Oh, we might have gotten it on the first cast here. This one's moving around a fair bit. Oh, the dogs. Yes, the dogs. This is why we have noise complaints, is because of the dogs. Oh, the dogs, yes. Oh, no, it's a lincod. Okay. I was expecting it to be a little bit more jumpy, so I can't say I'm too terribly surprised that it's not, but... We did manage to get a... Didn't we get one of them on the first cast, I think? Might have taken, like, 2 or 3. Not exactly sure on that. Also, I'm going to pause and wait. Alright, I think I'm going to stop there for the day. Also, I'm curious about something that I'm going to try when I get back. I'm not actually going to sell any of the tackles and bobbers, but I'm curious to see if a tackle with full energy and a tackle that's about to give out sell for the same price. I'm actually genuinely curious about that. So we'll find out. So yeah, no dice, as you can see. I found a couple things. I got a little bit more bait. A magnet, which I'm probably just going to sell those, honestly. But yeah, we found a couple little things to add to the pile, I suppose. I'm going to assume for the time being that I do not need to actually physically turn those in. So I'm just going to hang on to them there. Anything else in here that I want to keep? Perch, albacore, red mullet. I've got plenty of those. Herring, carp, lingcod. How are you? Got a few of those. Okay on chubs. Let's actually do this. Take up one less slot, which isn't really an issue anymore. Pike, I've got one, so I'll add another there. Midnight carp, same thing. And I think everything else should be okay to be sold. So let's do that. Put those in the geode crusher. These can go here. And I think that should be a video. Also, I did grab the tea leaves off of that, by the way, off the plant, since they are coming back into cycle. I think I probably will move that, but I'm probably going to wait until the start of year 3 or the start of the next month so that I can at least get all of those tea leaves before digging it up, replanting it, which isn't a big deal, but it will give it time to grow, which is the important thing. So yeah, this is what we've got here. Again, most of this is obviously our island crops, star fruits, pineapples, more star fruits. You get the idea. But, hey, that's more money in the bank. That's another 175k, basically. It is a good amount of money. I feel a little bit better about spending so much money on the catalogs now that we are back up to almost $1 million on hand cash. We've almost got $5 million in the bank. I was thinking about that before starting this recording. I was like, we'll probably get to $5 million before the second year is over. And yeah, we are absolutely going to get there at the rate we're going. We only need, like, what is that, 70k, basically? Like, just slightly over 70k? Yeah, we can hit that no problem in a week. Alright, that will do it for an episode. Next time on Stardew Valley, here on Fantasy Farm. Actually, there is one other thing I want to do, and I want to show off the new room. But before then, we will catch that last legend. We'll probably do the other quest as well of giving Kent the crystal and working on getting the eggs for Gus as well. I'll probably just do all of those to get those little boosts. Aside from that, it'll be a little bit more of the same. I'll be planning more of those star fruits, of course. We'll just be seeing what else we can do in terms of our money making, and pretty soon we're going to be able to afford that obelisk, because we've got all the other materials for it. Until then, let's have a very quick look. Hey, Sebby. Want some coffee? Yeah, I needed some to work up early for a nightmare and couldn't fall back to sleep. I hear ya. So yes, I did add the legend. I added a couple pieces of the cockle and the sea urchin in there, but this is the sky room. I was not set on really the background, or like the wallpaper, or the flooring, but I like how both turned out. I like that it seems like a little bit of a study room with the books on the tables and the bookshelf in the corner. I wanted to have the trophy somewhere, and it felt like it fit pretty well. I feel like the gold really pops with the blue. It really contrasts. There's nothing in this chest. I just kind of wanted to have that as like a little, you know, cheeky thing of, oh, maybe I'll hide something in there at some point. I don't know. But, yeah, I like how this turned out. This turned out really good, I think. I also wanted to put this somewhere, and I really feel like it wouldn't fit in the last area I had in mind, so this seemed like a good fit. And obviously we've got some lights here and in the corners. I actually did use some of the Joja pieces, as you can tell. This has the J on the lamp, but it's very hard to see. I used the dresser over here, which you can use. It is an actual dresser. Obviously our 2 lights here, and then the plastic plant, because this is a plastic one, and this table, or Joja. But I intentionally picked things that you couldn't tell were that way. What do you think, Sebastian? You like it? Yeah. He seems to approve of it. I also did rotate around the paintings a little bit here. I think this looks a little better. It looks a little bit more synchronized, if nothing else, and I might put something over here. But it's more mirrored now because you got the two small ones and then the one in the center. They're evenly divided in terms of how they mirror the beds, so I think it looks better. So I'm going to add something to this back wall, probably back here at some point, and then that will just leave this area here, which, like I said, I think I have an idea for this, but I want that Junimo catalog before I actually pull the trigger on that. So, thank you all for watching. I do not want to go to sleep. I'm just going to stay right here. We're going to be in a new spot. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.